With you. Sir, let's see what we can do now.
No.
If you can clear it, we can shift it today only.
Captain Khan, you can't give excuses for what you are not doing.
I'm not giving excuses.
You asked for.
What's the use of the Agenda 111 site?
So part of the contract is for them to screen the dread materials to take out the filth.
Cisco is almost 60% clear now. Now the area which we should concentrate is Vodafone and Avenor, and it has not been handed over to us till now. I'm ready to move even today.
Has this place been handed over to you?
Yes, sir. This
We
one
are talking about this place.
Yes, so that I'm saying this has been handed over. We are working in 2 days. The Cisco will be clear. Then next we should move there, and where material should go. 9 December we had a meeting with them. They said they are doing SCR for that onion market Agenda 11. So we cannot take over. So meeting with you, sir. Let's see what we can do now.
No.
If you can
Captain
clear
Khan,
it,
Captain
we can
Khan.
shift it today only.
Captain Khan, you can't give excuses for what you are not doing.
I'm not giving excuses.
You asked for.
What's the use of the Agenda 111 site?
So part of the contract is for them to screen the dread materials to take out the filth, so that whatever is recoverable, they can put it to use elsewhere. Then they have to deposit the residual materials to a site that we have provided. At the beginning of the contract, we alerted them that we had 3 handling sites. That's what we could secure for the project. The Odona site, the Colina site, and then the Pasico. So those were handed over to them. But they came back to tell us that the sites were not adequate. But in the contract, it requires the contractor to do due diligence, so that at the beginning of the contract, if you were aware that the sites were not enough, you should have flagged it to us. Then we would have authorized you to look for your own site. But you didn't do that. You looked at the sites that we had and you initiated the contract. So even coming back to us to support you to acquire, to get that general site, it was facilitation that we were facilitating, but it was upon your request. So when RCC released the site, the only thing that had to be done was a screening, and that was done right after that. And they were supposed to proceed to do the handling, the screening of the materials, in addition to the site that we have provided for them, that site as well. But they didn't take advantage of that opportunity till after the elections, and then the young boys took over the site. But even afterwards, we've had several meetings with them that these sites, the site and sites, we have paid the compensation. So it's clear for you to even use, at least when you scoop it out, you can put it as they are now doing. But from December, that opportunity was there, because December, we have paid everybody along the side, the banks, for them to be able to use the sites to de-water, do some minimal handling, then you could excavate it. But still there was delay in the processes.
What is the delay of the process? I have never understood.
We said from December, we had said the sites are available to you in addition to...
I've been told even this site is clear. There is not even an inch of a place to put a machine. I don't have legal authority to push people out.
Captain Khan, we had provided you access to the site. Number 2, in the contract, the contractor is responsible for the security. Once we hand over the site, you must secure it. You must put in the effort to secure it. It's part of your contract conditions. But you act oblivious of your own obligations, a contract that you yourself have signed. So we cannot turn our eyes away and let you do whatever you please, because in the end it will have other impacts, adverse impacts on people. So you are supposed to secure the site. Secure the site. Once we've handed over, secure the site.
How can I stop people from, if they're squatters, tell me what legal authority I have to stop them?
But it tells you they paid them compensation.
We paid them compensation.
They pay to them, but we have to remove them at least. If they remove and give me the place to work, like they've given me working. So this place, they say they're paid compensation. So there's not even 1 inch of place to put even my car cannot stop there.
Exactly.
And I have no legal authority to push people out.
From where we stand, it is just one excuse after one excuse. It's a constrained site, we know. It's a built-up area, we know. But we have put in measures as much as we can. And once we say take over the site, this place in December we told you bring your equipment here. The last people who were holdouts, once they see your equipment working, they are aware that a contractor is actively working here. And so once they have received their compensation, they have no entitlement to be here. But for how long did we tell you bring your equipment here? Our social safeguard is here. We've told you repeatedly bring the equipment here. It was last 2 weeks when the anti-flood task force was going around that they quickly brought some machines here. And
I did not bring machine quickly here. There is a method to dredge. There is a method to dredge.
After the other. It's
Sir,
one excuse after the other.
with due respect, you are using the wrong word.
You see, the point is, these projects are important because people's lives are involved. I remember the last time it flooded, I came with you across there. You saw the devastation.
Yes.
And so the projects are time sensitive. Look at it now, we're in April. Next month, May. June is the heaviest rainfall season for Accra. If this thing is not ready, it's going to destroy people's properties here. And that's why the consultants are saying, speed up the work.
Yes, if I may be allowed, if they clear this, after you ever not Vodafone, I can.
So who clears the squatters?
So once we pay them, we use the assembly. They have a task force. They have 2 weeks to vacate site. Once you receive your money, 10 days, you must be gone. We use the assembly's task force to do that clearance. And then we inform you the site is available for you.
Companies and individuals' lands, titled lands. Construction of the N1 and the construction of this very overpass brought much of the water closer. So because it affects Kitech Delta, they have taken it upon themselves to even finance the dredging of this big gutter right from Awushi towards and the Malam market through to the campus.
Let me get you. You said these are titled lands.
Yes.
This is not a wetland.
These are titled lands owned by Kitech Delta Limited.
But
These
who
are
gave
land
them title on a wetland?
You work with Kitech.
So the title land they have from
You work with Kitech.
no, I'm with Bawe.
So you are the ones who sold the land to them.
Much of these lands
No,
fall
wait.
within
You are the
the
one who
Bawe.
sold the land.
Yes.
Okay, so we are talking about a Ramsey site
Yes.
that we have sold to a private company to silt, and they are now filling the land and causing problems. And you are here defending it and say it is a titled land.
Not defense.
The Ramsey site is for Bawe chiefs. So you are selling the Ramsey site to a private company, and you are here to defend the fact that the company is filling the place up and causing problems.
That's a very
and
good
you want
question.
us to continue listening to you?
No, please.
Please, we are not ready to.
And the point even is, your point about the N1 blocking the water. I mean, there's a bridge. The water flows under the bridge. So how did the N1 block water? Because they take cognition of the drains and they build over. And so the water flows under the bridge. The problem now is the filling of this wetland. Nobody was supposed to sell this land. You don't sell wetlands. They are protected sites. Go to other places where people have built there. Their buildings have been demolished. So the traditional authority has no right to sell or give title to somebody on a wetland, because that's where the water flows and stays and continues to the sea. So if the person is dredging the small drain from you and he's narrowing the drain here, so all this water that is coming from up there, where is it going to pass?
So the dredging is from the Malam market, under the bridge of the Malam market, through to Pambros. So it's been widened. Hitherto, it was very narrow, but because of whatever, we needed to be widened enough to be able to collect the water that goes. So it's for that reason that since this dredging has taken place, all the major downpour over these few months have been well contained by this dredging, and this place has been well.
That's effective. That's
down there.
You see, don't stop this. If it
Down
is
there.
down there,
Have you been down there? Have you visited the site? Yes. The site behind.
have you gone to
Those.
Mr. President, I think that the tax force has been here. We've gone around with hydrology, we've gone around with water resources, we've gone around with the village. The challenge here is that the over one football field that you see here, which is being filled consistently by a company, 2 companies here, and then I think the VIP on the other end. They are the ones that are closing up the retention basin. So if you go to Blue Lagoon, which we have to drive through the other end, every house there, the water enters into the rooms. Every house. In fact, most of them you see is green from the last rains that came. The drain that President Mills constructor was referring to, it's choked right there because the water can't flow into this place. So if the chiefs sold the land to the private companies, he should not be here and be defending the fact that they've sold land and somebody is dredging a small piece, because the effect is not going to be here. As Mr. McCall said the last time, we can do all the works that we are currently doing up there. If this rotation continues, and you can see that they are going. The last time we came, they were not here. And they block access to this place. So you can only access this place through their company. You cannot come through the other end. They've deliberately drilled some things there so you can't come. So they have the leeway to be doing this and building a wall. And they will come and put up structures here. Then government would always be called upon. There is flooding in Blue Lagoon, Bawe is flooded, Malam Junction is flooded. Because they have taken money and they are benefiting for the private company, everybody else must suffer. I don't think that should be the case.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
In charge of Prez.
Okay, good to see you.
Yeah, President, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, so as you may recall, the 2015 flood, June 3rd, resulted in the displacement of some of the slabs of this drain. And this is the Odo upstream. So, government went into source for funding for this project under the garage. So this is one of the sites of garage. And here, because of the displacement of the slabs, it used to be a trapezoidal drain. But now we've gone for a rectangular section. And then for now, the contractor has done about 15% of the total stretch, which is about 900 meters away from here. So far, this is what the contractor has done. And then the contractor's name is Jason. Yes, thank you.
So is he constructing the drain or he's removing silt?
Yes, Honorable, he's constructing the drain.
Okay. Let's see, it's on the on the
board.
Okay, so right now we are here. So this is the section he's working now on the ground. Yeah. And then we are taking it all the way to the other overhead. It's about 900 meters. Okay, so this project commenced last year, March. So along the line, there were some issues with the design, which we have to change. I think that made a bit delay of the project. Yeah.
So subsequently, when did it start again?
Okay, so it started this January. Okay, so for now, looking at the contract duration, the contract has ended last month, but the contractor has written for extension.
Yes, looking at the rains we are expecting, we need.
You're right.
Means the flooding will be worse.
Yes, you're right. You're right. So the plan is we've asked the contractor to, speed up work because we are not yet in the actual rainy season. So they need to speed up quickly so then we can be able to scoop up this material to have space for the water to flow downstream.
Where is the water flowing from? Up here. Down the stream.
Yeah. So, Mr. President, this is one of the Ramsey sites at the heart of the city. It takes about 3 major drains. One is called Bali. It flows from Bawi Zero all the way down to the side. And there's another one called Lafa, which comes from
Lafa Stream.
Lafa Stream, yes. It's just at the back here. And the third one is the Blue Lagoon drain, which I remember very well. Our late President Mills promised the people of Blue Lagoon to construct some drain from them, which he did. So right now, if you go there, the drain that we've done, it's not flowing because of this activity. So the water gets there and it goes back to the community. So if you go there now, you see a lot of houses that are having water about a meter in their homes, which some of them keeps on pumping every time. So what the activity here has reduced the capacity. So ideally, when it comes here, it stays for some time before flowing through Pambros, then it enters into the sea. But because of this activity, if it rains, I remember very well last year, there was a heavy downpour. The main road, there was no way you could drive through because of the backwater effect. So if you go to the Lafa Stream, where the cars are passing, everybody has to stop behind the Malam Market for some time before going. So it's a big problem. And I remember your time we did some huge culvert at Malam Junction, which is functioning very well. But because of this activity, same thing, the water goes back to the community. So that is a challenge we have here.
Yes, in the past years, we are having a lot of drainage problem here. If you can record, anytime there's rain, there's a lot of flood, properties and lives have been lost. So and together with the community, we have a association here. We came together, approach the companies or the firms here, which they collaborated with us, and then they dredged the water twice in a year for us. That is why I think the flood were able to minimize. So the last time when the governments were here, I informed the community. They're very much happy that the government has, try to solve the problem for us. So I'll beg the president, we're happy you are here, I'll beg the president, we need a big drainage from here to the end there. And then down Soman, they are building anyhow from the slit flat. So that place too doesn't allow the water to go. But for now, from here, from this Malam Junction here to the Sakumono Gota there, this Pambros, this company have been helping us to dredge the water twice in a year. Yes, so that's the problem we are facing. So far, so good. I think we are happy the government is here and the president himself is here, and we know we shall be free from flood.
So, Your Excellency, the construction of
But the problem
N1
is
highway.
this. I don't know who is doing this, but the person is narrowing the drain for you.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's the one dredging it, but it's closing the drain and where the water collects when it rains.
Your Excellency, the construction of the N1 and this very highway, yes, also brought much of the water closer here. These are individual companies and individuals' lands, titled lands. Construction of the N1 and the construction of this very overpass brought much of the water closer. So because it affects Kaitek Delta, they have taken it upon themselves to even finance the dredging of this big gutter right from Awushi and the Malam Market through to the Pambros.
Let me get you. You said these are titled lands.
Yes.
This is not a wetland.
These are titled lands owned by Kaitek Delta Limited.
But
These
who
are
gave
land
them title on a wetland?
Do you work with Kaitek?
So the title land they have from...
Do you work with Kaitek?
No, I'm with Bawi.
So you are the ones who sold the land to them.
Much of these lands
No,
fall
wait.
within
You are the one who sold the land.
yes.
Okay, so we are talking about a Ramsey site
Yes.
that we have sold to a private company to silt, and they are now filling the land and causing problems.
Okay.
And you are here defending it and say it's a titled land.
Not defense.
The Ramsey site is for Bawe chiefs. So you are selling the Ramsey site to a private company, and you are here to defend the fact that the company is filling the place up and causing problems.
That's a very good question.
And you want us to continue listening to you?
No, please.
Please. We are not ready to.
And the point even is, your point about the N1 blocking the water. I mean, there's a bridge. The water flows under the bridge. So how did the N1 block water? Because they take cognition of the drains and they build over. And so the water flows under the bridge. The problem now is the filling of this wetland. Nobody was supposed to sell this land. You don't sell wetlands. They are protected sites. Go to other places where people have built there. Their buildings have been demolished. So the traditional authority has no right to sell or give title to somebody on a wetland, because that's where the water flows and stays and continues to the sea. So if the person is dredging the small drain from you and he's narrowing the drain here, so all this water that is coming from up there, where is it going to pass?
So the dredging is from the Malam market, under the bridge of the Malam market, through to Palm Ross. So it's been widened. Hitherto, it was very narrow, but because of what we needed to be widened enough to be able to collect the water that goes. So it's for that reason that since this dredging has taken place, all the major downpour over these few months have been well contained by this dredging, and this place has been well.
That's down there. You see, don't stop this. The effect
down
is
there.
down there.
Have you been down there? Have you visited the site? Yes. The site behind.
Have you gone to
Those.
Mr. President, I think that the tax force has been here. We've gone around with hydrology, gone around with water resources, we've gone around with the village. The challenge here is that the over one football field that you see here, which is being filled consistently by a company, two companies here, and then I think the VIP on the other end. They are the ones that are closing up the retention basin. So if you go to Blue Lagoon, which we have to drive through the other end, every house there, the water enters into the rooms. Every house. In fact, most of them you see is green from the last rains that came. The drain that President Mills constructed was referring to, it's choked right there because the water can't flow into this place. So if the chiefs sold the land to the private companies, he should not be here and be defending the fact that they've sold land and somebody is dredging a small piece, because the effect is not going to be here. As Mr. McCall said the last time, we can do all the works that we are currently doing up there. If this rotation continues, and you can see that they are going. The last time we came, they were not here. And they block access to this place. So you can only access this place through their company. You cannot come through the other end. They've deliberately drilled some things there so you can't come. So they have the leeway to be doing this and building a wall, and they will come and put up structures here. Then government would always be called upon. There is flooding in Blue Lagoon, Bawe is flooded, Malam Junction is flooded. Because they have taken money and they are benefiting for the private company, everybody else must suffer. I don't think that should be the case. So you have no point coming to disgrace yourself in front of the media trying to defend the wrong things that you are doing. Because that puts a lot of pressure on us.
So what's remedial action that is needed? Hydrology.
Yes. I believe the best solution is to scoop the material. They need to allow water to stay. You know, it's amazing. If you go to, this is one of the Ramsey side. If you go to Sakumono, same. If you go to Peshi, same. You know, that is why I keep on saying that in God's own wisdom, okay, all the rivers that we have, all the drains we have, He has created naturally a basin, a retention basin, so that when it gets there, it stays there for some time before flowing out. And this is what we're doing. So it's a big challenge. I mean, when people get flooded, they call you left and right, come and do, and when you go on the ground, it's difficult to do anything. So the best solution is they need to scoop this material and allow water to stay here. Yeah.
At whose cost?
I think the minister has to take that decision.
So, the contractor working here to scoop.
at their own cost, and they have to do that. If we want to hold on, we will still have problems down there. He has not gone down there to see. It's really bad. Yes, sir.
So, like I said on Eid al-Fitr there at the Black Star Square, a lot of the flooding in the city is caused by human activity. We are the problem. What is happening here does not affect the factories here. The water comes from somewhere, and once it can pass and continue, it will back up and affect the communities beyond. These are streams that existed long before our grandfathers were born. They are streams that flow from the Equapin Mountains and find their way to the sea. Then we decided to come and build our capital city across the streams. So even if you build your capital city, you must allow the streams to flow through. People have built and blocked it. If you build and block a stream, the water will still come. But when it comes and it can't pass, what will it do? It will flood its banks. That's all that is happening in this city. And that's why we're asking the regional minister and the district chief executives to take a very tough stand on people whose properties are blocking waterways, because they're creating distraction for other people's properties and even loss of lives. Sometimes when it floods heavily, we lose human lives. And so it's not because we don't have a sympathy for people like that, but we must enforce the bylaws. And the point is, the assembly here, how did you sit and allow this to happen? How did the assembly allow this to happen? And that's why you have the chief executive, you have assembly members. They must be conscious of all this. These are waterways, like he said. Can you imagine the volume of water that this place alone can hold when it rains? And so if you fill it up and you'd say there should just be a drain passing through, the drain cannot contain that water. And so let's do what we have to do. They should remove all this, and it should be at the cost of the people who did it. They should take this back where they brought it from.
Thank you, sir.
All the way to Confirm Junction. This is first light. I don't know whether you can know first light. Yes. So when they get to the first light, it will now run under the main road, highway, all the way to where the interchange is. Yes. So we're going to tie it in over there. Because under the Obiche, they did it from the downstream to a point. So we are also going to tie it in over there.
But the volume from Obicheve, is it wide enough to accept this?
Yes, so the good thing is that it's the same design that we gave them to construct that. Because the experience we had at Malam, we don't want to have the same thing over here. But during the construction, if they don't do it now, during the construction, when we come in, it means that we will now go into excavate under the interchange and do the bigger section. So we take the same design so that it will do the
So they've done it as part of the interchange?
Yes.
So it's under the interchange?
Yes. Okay. Yes. So we will only tie in it at and then when you go to the other side of the road, we have another one about 5x2, which run parallel of the road to a point, and then it veers off through to Stakwadi station, and it goes to this also kind all the way to, and then it enters into the Stakwadi street itself. So then at that section, we're going to have a bigger one, which is about 25 meters by 7.5, all the way to ICS. We're going to line there, and from there we'll have channel widening to the confluence. So basically, these are the two projects at connection under the garage.
How fast is this project?
So they started last year, December. Before there used to be an existing one. They need to demolish it because it is inadequate. They need to demolish it and put in a bigger one. Yeah. So
So where does the water come from?
It comes from Bubuashi, and then one also comes from Kumbi area. Then when it gets here, from here it bifurcates before entering into what we are going to do.
But I noticed you blocked it here.
Yes, so they have diverted the flow so this can dry out and then they can do the construction. So the blockage, if beyond here you see that there's a depth, this is where they are doing the construction itself. They have to dewater it, then do the concrete lining, and then after that rechannel it back into this drain.
But it doesn't look like this can be done before the rains open up.
We are actually into expedite to put in more pumps. So Chimata contractor, for example, also put in more pumps to drain out, and an excavator also to fetch out as much as he can so that he can quickly do the works.
I mean, if you look at the fact that the contracts were awarded last year and where they've gotten to now, I mean, we're here 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure they will have engineering reasons for why nothing really has happened. But are you sure that this project is moving at the pace at which it should be?
Yeah, so what we are putting in acceleration measures, we are telling all the contractors, not only this contractor, but every contractor involved, to put in acceleration measures. One could be doubling or extending the work hours. Because if they do 8 to 5 and close, when you can put in more lighting and work during the night as well, you can compress the time it takes to deliver. We're also exploring the possibility of opening up additional sites so that he can work concurrently in multiple sites. And just be careful to ensure that the gradient is not compromised. That is the tricky part, because if you misplace a gradient, the water could flow back. But we are pressing them to extend the work hours. That one, we can be able to do more within a working day and therefore be able to compress the time.
My fear is that with this blockage, the trench there is not enough to take the volumes of water that will come. And so if the rains open up and this work is not finished, it will cause more flooding upstream unless we take this barrage dam out and allow the water to come through here.
So we do routine monitoring. So if we see the rains, and the rains not only just falling here, but further upstream, if we see any intensity in the rain, the contractor will be asked to open up immediately. Because once you've dammed it, then of course the backflow is going to create a problem. So as an emergency measure, no matter what stage he has reached, you have to open it up for that flow to pass, and then dam it again, and then dewater quickly and continue the construction. Those are emergency measures that we'll have to take, rather than just insist that this damming be in place.
What it teaches us is that, they should have quickened the pace during the Harmattan period, because that's when you get the best conditions to be able to work. Now this is April. May, June is Accra's peak, and so the amount of water that is going to come down this way, we need to put emergency measures in place so that we don't create behind the wall. A few rains have come. Short but quite intense. I hope that you studied what must have happened upstream. Yeah, so we need to be ready so that we don't cause more distraction.
We also do is that we widen the diversion as well. As much he can quickly do his work. We'll explore all of that in this week, next week, and then we'll come with measures to address that.
Accra area. These garage projects for desilting the major drains were given since last year. It is clear that all of them are behind schedule. And from what I have seen, these drains are not going to be ready before the rains open up. And if they aren't, it means that we must expect that there will be severe flooding this season. I would have thought that the contractors will take advantage of the dry season and work as quickly as possible so that we would have been ahead with these projects by now. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened. And so we just have to caution citizens of Accra that there's going to be severe flooding because of the delay in these projects. But we have to do everything to alleviate destruction of property and loss of life as much as possible. But I've charged the Garrett Secretariat and the Hydrology Section and the Ministry to pay constant attention to make sure that all the projects that have been awarded under Garrett to make Accra resilient from flooding are speeded up as quickly as possible so that we can minimize the flooding. These have to do with the major drains, but they're also the minor drains that feed water into the main drains. And with some of those minor drains, it is just people building walls across or building their properties in the waterway that is causing flooding to their neighborhood and all that. And as I said on the day of the Eid al-Fitr, we're going to mark all those waterways, and any person whose property is in the waterway, the property will be taken out so that we can minimize the loss of life and destruction to property that occurs every year. We cannot sit and throw our hands up in the air as if there's nothing we can do about it when we know the exact cause of what the flooding is. And so we're going to take this seriously. I've charged the minister. We're soon going to appoint the district chief executives. And so the minister and the district chief executives must all survey their various districts and see what is hampering the flow of water through their districts. And we will take measures to remove those obstructions in the waterway so that we can have a city that is resilient and where people every year in, year out, continue to suffer destruction of their properties because of other people's recklessness. So Minister, you and your team look at this and work as quickly as possible. Work as fast as possible before the main rains open up. After the rains subside, normally after July in Accra, the rains go down, and so we can see what work we can. But in the dry season, we must take advantage and finish these projects as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click on the bell for more updates.